Good evening. I call to order the administrative meeting of the Bernalillo County Commission for Tuesday, January 22nd, 2019. And we're going to begin tonight's meeting with a silent invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance led by our esteemed former colleague, Art de la Cruz, who I think I just saw here.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, Madam County Manager, do we have any additions or changes to tonight's agenda?
Madam Chair, Commissioners, yes, we do. The first one is under 3A, under Commission, encourage participation in the APS mill levy and general bond election, adoption of resolution, item to be moved to 11E. The next one is item 3B, Bernalillo County Mesa del Sol Regional Recreational Facility Focus, adoption of resolution, item 11F, to be moved to 11F. The next one is to defer all items under section 4 proclamations, number 5 certificates and awards, number 7 communications and items, and 9A under consent. And then also under 11A under adoption of resolution to the February 12th, 2019 BCC meeting. And a vote is required for all the above changes to the agenda.
Thank you very much. I move approval of the changes to tonight's agenda.
Second.
Second from Vice Chair O'Malley. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you, Julie. All right. Please remind me, did we defer 4A or are we moving forward with that? Okay, so, and I want to thank everybody who has come to speak on any of these tonight. I know there are some people who are here to speak on the Energy Transition Act, so if you heard the county manager, we're going to defer that into our next meeting, but if you have signed up to speak, you are certainly still welcome to address that during public comment. All right, any questions? All right, we will move then on to public comment. That would be item number 7. How many people do we have signed up?
We have 10 signed up.
All right, we have 10 people signed up, so our rules dictate that each speaker has 2 minutes to speak. A bell will sound once 90 seconds has elapsed, letting you know you've got 30 seconds to wrap up. So Julie will call the names. When you hear your name, please come up to the front, and please do, out of respect for everybody here, please stay within the 2-minute time limit. Thank you.
Robert Trujillo, Rudolph Serrano, Don Schrader,
Hello, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Robert Trujillo. I'm a South Valley citizen, a lifelong South Valley citizen, and a businessman. And I came to speak to the resolution for the closing the achievement gap or the elimination of the achievement gap. I would just like to express I have been trying to help APS and just other school districts in the state of New Mexico close this achievement gap for about 13 years now, starting parent programs and different programs. Some of the facts are we have 50% of the New Mexico students needing remedial classes that are graduating from our schools that are not college ready. We have 70% that don't know how to read or do math at their grade level right now. And that's just a huge, huge achievement gap that we have. And it keeps getting pushed under the rug, and it's not being brought to light. We definitely need to see that there's a problem. And we always hear from different school districts how great everything is going. It's not going great. It's not going good. So I'm glad to see that we have a resolution that, again, I would like to see everybody support on that's going to close this achievement gap, or help close it. It's not going to be right away. We do need everybody's help, and I'm coming in on the side of a parent, and also getting families and parents more involved in schools. I think that's where it starts. It's not only teachers, it's not only educators, and we don't just need money thrown at this. We need as much help from the community as possible. So I thank you all for your support.
Good evening, Commissioners. First, I want to mention that this shutdown is just insane. You know, it's affecting all our families, not only 800,000 people, but 800,000 families, which is millions of American people. Just in the Federal Bureau of Investigations, is affecting crime against children, which is it's in the best years. It's getting thousands of pedophiles out of the streets, and we're affecting them. The drug and gang crime that is doing a great job too, benefiting the Mexican cartel instead. Counterintelligence and terrorism benefit ISIS. Cybersecurity benefit Russia. Securities fraud benefiting Wall Street. I mean, these things, like, it seems like it's planned. You know, these people are cashing out and the happiness of the best of our people. So please call your congressman and tell them to stop all this political game, which is very important. Locally, the sheriff ball is coming. You know, let's support the sheriff and support those children. I may do a little comedy there. I still have to talk to him. Adventures of a Masseuse, 1001 Nights Without a Happy Ending. It will be a very funny part. And just have a great day. We're having a legislation coming in. Education, local economy. In this shutdown, we discovered one thing. We don't have enough to eat. The food banks are empty, you know, so we're giving it to the homeless. Now it's going to these families, and we don't have a system. And only the local economy, making our own vegetation and fruits, is what is going to help. So just that out. Thank you very much.
Prophet Martin Luther King Jr. damned the Vietnam War in his most controversial speech on April 4th, 1967, exactly 1 year before he was assassinated. King damned the U.S. mass murder of Vietnamese people. King said, quote, "The greatest purveyor of violence in the world today is my own government," unquote. The New York Times, the Washington Post, many newspapers nationwide condemned his strong message of truth. Many whites, many blacks, the White House, even most of King's inner circle of black leaders condemned his strong message of truth. He suffered much hatred, many death threats. Why is that speech far less known, far less honored than his "I Have a Dream" speech? Sadly, most King celebrations today castrate his message. Sadly, most King celebrations do not emphasize his strong stand against nuclear weapons, against the Vietnam War, against the evils of capitalism and the U.S. empire. Martin Luther King Jr. was a prophet, not a politician, not a rock star. He refused to silence his conscience. He refused to sell out his convictions to get the popular support of millions. He refused to sell out his convictions to get the approval of the powerful.
Art De La Cruz, Carrie Tolley, Lisa Goodman.
Good evening, Madam Chair and all the commissioners. I first want to start by congratulating the chair on her successful bid to be the chair, which is often a fight. Also, I want to especially congratulate Commissioner Biscotti for her successful election. Commissioners, I'm here this evening to encourage your support for the regional park. It's a journey that the county began in the late 1990s. That journey resulted in the successful attainment of over 600 acres at Mesa del Sol. In fact, the county secured that property before there was any contractor for that particular piece of land. But before I go any further, for full disclosure, I am working for Mr. Steve Chavez, who is one of the owners of Mesa del Sol. But for me, it's more personal because at the time that the county successfully attained this property, I was the director of the County Parks and Recreation Department. And it was the vision of the county that we would have truly a regional park. And when you have 600 plus acres, indeed you have a regional park. To give you a comparison, Balloon Fiesta sits on about 300 acres. This is twice that size. The county has invested for some time not only in the infrastructure and the planning effort, but it really started with two particular efforts. The first effort that the State Land Office required was that the county do a master plan, and the county did a master plan. I believe it's now in its second or third iteration of that particular plan. But on top of that, the County Commission also commissioned a study that would demonstrate that if you would put commercial endeavors coupled with non-commercial endeavors, i.e. the soccer fields and Little League fields and Yaffle fields, that the commercial component would help offset that cost that didn't particularly generate funds. And in fact, the amphitheater was the first on the ground. And there was a race at that time to see, can I continue just a moment, Madam Chair? And there was a race at that time to see who would be the first to build an amphitheater. The city of Albuquerque wanted to build an amphitheater. The city of Rio Rancho wanted to build an amphitheater, but the county did it first. And it kind of stopped and it languished and it hasn't quite moved forward. But there was to be commercial efforts such as a theme park, large-scale movie theaters, a water park, etc. That was planned, and the county invested in that and had the vision to see into the future of how that would lay itself out. And so you have truly the potential for a regional park that will not only serve Bernalillo County, the city of Albuquerque, and the entire region. It is indeed a central New Mexico effort. So I encourage your support. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good evening, Madam Chairman and members of the commissioners. My name is Carrie, and I'm here for the Energy Transition Act, and I wanted to speak about it because I'm Navajo, and I'm from near the community of where the San Juan power generating station is, and you know, the state of New Mexico is incredibly beautiful and diverse. And we can't sustain future generations of New Mexicans using, you know, dirty, polluting coal fired power. And you know, if you have lived there, you know, it really pollutes the area. And there's all these studies about it affecting the people, especially the Navajo people. And you know, we can't afford it. And everyone worldwide is abandoning coal, and why would we want to invest in something unhealthy? It's going to cost us our health and our well-being. And I support this resolution because it asks our legislators to do what is right for our state and our communities. We can't keep kicking this down the road, hoping for something to drastically alter our energy reality. Worldwide, coal is disappearing, and it's more expensive and it pollutes, adding to catastrophic climate change. So we have to get out of coal. And that's what I wanted to make that statement. Thank you.
Hello, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Congratulations to those of you with new roles, and especially to my commissioner, newly elected. My name is Lisa Goodman, and for full disclosure, I work at PNM. I've worked there for 15 years. And I am worried that the current unstable business regulatory environment here in New Mexico keeps investors and prospective businesses from looking at New Mexico to site new business. We need a more stable business environment and one that is actually friendly to people who want to do business in New Mexico. Transitioning from coal to cleaner energy is a key step in making New Mexico a real player nationwide for both renewable and tech jobs. We can have the jobs that bring business to our beautiful state. But we need a responsible energy transition that spurs economic development and uplifts all of our communities. We can't keep waiting and can't wait any longer for this. I know that you are not planning to hear this until next time, but I urge our legislators to put in place legislation that helps make the transition responsibly.
Anthony Bueno, Lola Nudecker, Marion Goodluck, and Sherry Wells.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Excuse me. My name is Anthony Bueno, and I've worked for PNM for about 13 years, and I've served in many roles. Currently, I work with solar providers to interconnect into our system. Over the years, I've seen a lot of change and a lot of interest and a lot of opportunity with renewable energy and interconnections. Today, the world is shifting towards a cleaner energy, and it's exciting times. I'm happy to be part of that from a PNM standpoint. I support Commissioner Quesada's resolution to ask the state legislature to help put in place an energy policy that helps New Mexico transition from coal to a more clean energy, while also keeping in mind that we need to do this responsibly to protect safety and reliability. There's a future for the workforce. There's a future of opportunities that will come with this transition, and it's important to lay a responsible path towards a clean energy and the futures for our young New Mexicans. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening, Madam Commissioner and Commissioners of Bernalillo County. I'm a little nervous about speaking in front of you, so I'm going to go ahead and read from my paper here. My name is Lola Nudecker, and in full disclosure, I am a PNM employee. I worked for the city of Albuquerque and the University of New Mexico for many years, and this is my second career. I've only been with PNM for 7 months. I am a lifelong New Mexican. I was born and raised in this state, and I've seen the state's ups and downs. I have to pay my electric bill, and I worry about the future of our state and the environment. I love New Mexico, and I know we all see the amazing potential that this state has. We all want affordable electricity while caring for the environment and doing our part in the fight against global climate change. I don't want to pay more for electricity, but I also think there's a path to transition to cleaner energy at the least cost. Environmental and community advocates have long wanted us to shut down the San Juan coal plant. It now makes economic sense to do so. Coal is not the cheapest fuel source. I think it's important that we move forward towards cleaner, more renewable energy in a smart way that supports our most vulnerable populations. I'm here to support the county's resolution to urge our state legislature to pass legislation that responsibly transitions us out of coal. Thank you.
Marion Goodluck and Sherry Wells.
Oh, go ahead.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Marion Goodluck. I am of the Navajo Nation, but I say Dene Nation now because Navajo means thieves. I want to inform you that the American Indian Women's Center, which I belong to, is trying to open a new second domestic violence shelter here in Albuquerque. We have one for more than 500,000 people, almost 1 million. So they have 48 beds, And what we would like to do is purchase a hotel which has 165 double rooms. It is located at Louisiana and Lomas, and it's called Barcelona Suites. We want to do this because our people, the people of the Indian nations here in Albuquerque, and there are over 300 different tribes or nations, we have the worst problem with domestic violence. Every time one person is killed in America from domestic violence, at that same moment, at that second, 10 Indian women are killed. And you may not know, but since the 70s, since they started compiling statistics, the American Indian people have the worst statistics in alcoholism, in undereducation, in unemployment, in poverty, and ultimately in domestic violence and suicide. That includes our small children aged 10, 12. We need this place so that we can heal our people. I'm wearing a lot of jewelry. My mother taught me that coral and turquoise helps me be noticed by the holy people. I am also wearing it because it has been blessed at several ceremonies of healing and protection ceremonies. I want you to know that we have a beautiful culture and we need to teach this to our children so that they want to succeed and be happy. There has been studies done by the Department of Justice, the Health, the National Health Institute, and the White Bison Society, which reflects that if we know and believe and love our culture, we will love ourselves and we won't commit suicide, we won't drink, we won't drug, we won't gamble, we will be productive citizens that pay taxes. So please support us in our initiative to open a new domestic violence shelter and our domestic violence hotline. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I'm Sherry Wells, and I just wanted to make some comments on the Energy Transition Act. The future of New Mexico is an exciting one. Efforts to transition from coal power to renewable energy and other cleaner energy puts us on the path toward being a leader in the country. And I know that we all want to see New Mexico in the #1 leader spots. As a community leader, I work every day at the New Mexico Museum of Natural History and Science, and we work hard to develop programs for our youth, especially ones that promote science, technology, engineering, and math. As STEM is a priority for me and for the museum, I see new opportunities for the next generation. One of the first meetings that I went to, I was really excited when there were started conversations from the Anderson School of Business and C&M, and they were already asking about what type of careers can we anticipate. You know, they're already thinking about how can we further teach our children and give them another reason to stay here in New Mexico. By transforming from coal to cleaner energy, we have an opportunity to further diversify our economy and increase green and technology and STEM-related jobs. There's an opportunity to do this while also responsibly addressing the challenges of this transition in the Four Corners area. I believe the legislature should address the impact of the plant closure on jobs, property taxes, and community transitions and funding for the Four Corners community. I support this resolution and ask for your support. Thank you.
And that concludes public comment.
All right, thank you. Did we deferred 7A as well? Thank you. All right. All right, so we are now on item 8A, that is approval of the minutes. I move we approve the minutes of January 8th, 2019 administrative meeting. We have a second from Commissioner Talbert. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? It passes unanimously. We are now on approval of the consent agenda minus item 9A. Do I have a motion to approve? We have a motion from Commissioner Talbert. I will second that. We have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. Madam Clerk, may I have resolution numbers for 9C, D, and E, please?
Yes, ma'am.
9C is FR 2019-5. D is FR 2019-6. E is 2019-7.
Thank you, ma'am. So we are now on item 10A. That is a motion. I move we introduce and approve for publication an amendment to Ordinance 2006-16 to extend the 1/16% healthcare gross receipts tax countywide. Do we have a second? A second from Commissioner O'Malley. Shirley.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, my name is Shirley Reagan. I'm the Deputy County Manager for Finance. On August 6, 2006, the Bernalillo County Board of Commissioners adopted an ordinance enacting a 1/16 gross receipts tax dedicated to the support of indigent patients. The 1/16% healthcare gross receipts county indigent program is utilized to support various indigent healthcare needs, including the funding for the following departments, facilities, and programs: the Metropolitan Assessment Treatment Center, Services Center, the South Valley Health Commons, Wellesley Public Health Office, and MDC Inmate Healthcare. The projects range from capital purchases to renovations and also support of indigent service providers and other healthcare services programming for indigent patients. This GRT generates approximately $11.5 million of revenue annually. The state statute allows for continuance of this healthcare gross receipts tax in 5-year increments with board approval. Staff recommends continuance in order to continue to fund the various services for the benefit of indigent residents. With board approval, the ordinance will be published for 30 days and will be presented for adoption at the February 26, 2019 meeting. Adoption will assure that there is no interruption in the funding for the additional 5 years until June 30th, 2024. Stand for questions.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? All right. Seeing none, this is a motion this is for introduction and publication. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. We're now on to adoption of resolutions. We have deferred item 11A, so we are on to, did we defer 11B? No. Okay. We're on 11B. Madam Clerk, may I have a resolution number, please?
Let me verify that we deferred 11A. Okay, so that would be AR 2019-8.
Thank you. Commissioner Quezada? Oh, do you want to move for approval? We'll second and then discuss.
Yeah, I move for approval.
I will second. It's a motion from Commissioner Quezada, second from Commissioner O'Malley. Commissioner Quezada.
So this is based on what you heard earlier on the achievement gap, which I like to call the opportunity gap. I've sat on the school board for 4 years, and a lot of this and what the speaker spoke about earlier was actually opportunity for children, and it's not a matter of what we do for education, but how we approach education. And as we all know, we've been funding education around the same level since about 2009. So the same amount of dollars has been going into education for 10 years without raising it. And so that's problematic, because if anybody knows anything about even being a business owner, your cost of doing business goes up at least 3% every year. We have not factored that in. And so people always wonder why we're struggling in education in New Mexico. And what we're telling you is that it's because we don't properly fund education in New Mexico. From having enough schools, I think anybody who knows my district, our schools are overcrowded. We've got numbers today from the schools in my district, and they're overcrowded by not a few students, but up to 400 to 500 students overcrowded in the schools in my district. And with that becomes where the big cracks are, right? The opportunity. When teachers when teachers have 34 kids in a classroom, well, then we find a lot of those kids not having the opportunity to learn. And so what we're asking with this resolution is to support not only funding education properly, but also support the programs that could help us supplement some of the programs that aren't being put into these schools that are overcrowded. So with that, I'm just asking for your support so we can keep pushing this agenda. I feel very confident that with our new governor and the new legislation being forwarded in Santa Fe, that we actually have a really good shot within the next 8 years to, change what I will call again the opportunity gap.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any questions, comments? Right, we have a motion and a second to approve Administrative Resolution AR 2019-8. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. We are now on 11C, which is amending the 2019 Capital Outlay Resolution. Commissioner O'Malley?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And we had talked a little bit earlier about this, Mr. Campbell. So essentially we were going to, this is connected to the Mesa del Sol Regional Complex resolution, and then our commitment to moving forward with that location and the project. So I just wanted to change the amount, leave the other language fine where it was originally, but I think the amount was to be increased to $10.1 million.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioner O'Malley. That's correct. One of the amendments for tonight was to increase the dollar amount from $4 million to $10.1 million. That still stands. I believe the wording, though, we want to tweak the wording a little bit, which will need a floor amendment from you all because it was submitted, the old wording was submitted before publication deadline.
Okay, so the original language
is, we want to go back to the...
Clay, if we may, what I'd like to do is just move approval, have a second, and that way we can move forward if there is actually interest in anything. So I move approval of item 11C. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner O'Malley. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so the Mesa del Sol item would read $10.1 million to plan, design, and construct utility infrastructure, outdoor ball fields, parking, and phase 1 of an indoor recreational facility at the Swede Scholler Recreational Complex at Mesa del Sol.
Okay.
So is that the amendment as it has been proposed, or do we need a floor amendment?
I need that floor amendment right now.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we have moved an amendment to Resolution AR 2018-83 that has been published. Commissioner O'Malley, you have an amendment?
Right, so I would move the amendment as stated.
All right. I will second that. We have a motion and a second to amend the resolution before us as stated by Mr. Campbell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes unanimously. Any other questions, comments, amendments?
Madam Chairwoman, I believe there was one other minor amendment that was discussed this morning after the publication, and that had to do with the dollar amount for what a nonprofit organization might be seeking.
Great, and I would like to also amend this. This would be amending page 4, line 5. So we are supporting funding for PB&J Family Services to plan, design, and construct redevelopment of their building in the South Valley. And so I would propose that we change the amount from $500,000 to $1 million. So I move that amendment. A second from Commissioner O'Malley. Any questions or comments? It is a county building. It is going to require, I think, a complete remodel, and so it does seem that the legislature is willing to support this. So we have motion and second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That amendment is approved. Any other amendments, questions, comments? All right. So we have, I guess we need to move item 11C as amended. Do we have a second? A second from Commissioner Talbert, so I move that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, we are now on to 11D, project revenue bond for Thomas Development. Madam Clerk, may I have a resolution number, please?
Yes, ma'am. AR 2019-9.
All right, I move approval of AR 19-9. Do I have a second? Second from Commissioner O'Malley. Marcos.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Marcos Gonzalez, the Assistant Director for County Economic Development. Madam Chairwoman, members of the Commission, the Economic Development staff recommends the approval of the inducement resolution authorizing the Bernalillo County Commission to approve a project revenue bond application on behalf of Thomas Development. Briefly, this is a request for multifamily revenue bonds, which will finance the rehab of the existing 96 unit a complex, and will move the complex to being 100% affordable. And I'll stand for any questions.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? Julie, I just want to confirm we did move approval and second, right?
That is correct.
All right. Seeing no questions or comments, we have a motion and a second to approve inducement resolution AR 2019-9. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. We are now on to item 11E, which was originally item 3A. That is and I would move that we approve. Madam Clerk, may I have an administrative resolution for number 11, what is now 11E?
AR 2019-10.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Right. So this is an administrative resolution encouraging voters to participate in the APS mill levy that is coming up. So I would move approval. Have a second? A second from Commissioner Piscotti, excuse me. Would anyone like to speak to this?
Sure. I'd love to speak to this. Look, at the end of the day, if we don't have money to build new schools, where schools are overpopulated, where the city of Albuquerque is growing, we're already behind the 8 ball, as you heard from my earlier comment. And if we don't become proactive in education, we're never going to catch up. Again, I understand that education is expensive, but it just is. And if you don't know this, the average age of an APS school is 40 years old. So if you live on a part of town saying, well, we don't care about you building new schools in our district, we're already built out, you won't be building new schools. Well, your schools they're going under, they're dilapidating, and you're going to need construction, you're going to need roofs, you're going to need updating to your to move to LED lights and to be more energy efficient. You're going to need a lot of different things that are happening. I think what people get confused about when we're looking at budget is there's a difference between the money that we use to educate children and the capital money we use to not only build new schools, but to update new schools and keep them functional. And without those dollars, that doesn't happen. And with that doesn't happen, then we're again in the same vicious cycle of being behind in education in New Mexico. So I thank you for this, Madam Chair, for bringing this forward. It's super important that the community knows that we have to fund education. If we're not getting it from the state, well, then we need to step up as citizens to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions, comments? All right, we have a motion and a second to approve Administrative Resolution AR 2019-10. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. We're now on 11F. Used to be 3B. Madam Clerk, may I have an administrative resolution number, please?
Yes, ma'am. AR 2019-11.
All right. This is a motion to approve it. Do we have a motion for approval?
I so moved.
We have a motion from Commissioner O'Malley. I will second that. Would you like to speak to this?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a resolution that's essentially just reaffirming our position regarding the location of the proposed sports complex. This is a facility that, as was mentioned, actually by the previous Commissioner, R. de la Cruz, that's been in the planning and the works for some time now. There was a study that was done recently that compared some locations, but basically, this particular location was higher in terms of its rating, in terms of location, and also infrastructure needs, et cetera. So I'm not going to go into that, but I thought it was important for us to reaffirm that. And so that's basically what this resolution states. It talks about the need, just basically countywide, and there is a great need countywide. And it also talks about our investments to date. One thing it also says in one of the clauses is that we are committed to working with the state, also and the city of Albuquerque, to identify those gaps for those areas that are underserved, and there are many areas that are underserved. This thing is sort of getting going again because, of course, we have a change in the in terms of the housing. We had a housing crisis, so a lot of development sort of like just sat there or didn't move. And also we have some opportunity on the state level to get some more funding for these projects. So it seems it's very timely to start moving again to get this project underway. So that's essentially what it states, and I would really appreciate everyone's support.
All right, do we have any questions or comments?
Oh, one other thing, I think, sorry, Madam Chair, but you did have just kind of wanted to restate, I think, there was a section at the end, before we go, I was just moving the amendment. It's been the sort of like the therefore clause. And I think it was the total, it's basically, I'll just go ahead and restate the entire clause, and that's probably just the easiest thing to do than to try to. Basically, it says, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners, the governing body of the County of Bernalillo affirms that the Schweid-Scholar Regional Recreation Complex at Mesa del Sol is Bernalillo County's priority location for tournament quality fields, indoor practice and competition spaces for local youth and adult athletes, as well as to attract regional and national competitions. So wherever that needs to fit in, I mean, basically, I've stated that.
I will second that amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. All right. If there are no more questions, comments, or amendments, we have, I move we approve Administrative Resolution 2019-11 as amended. Second?
Second.
A second from Commissioners O'Malley and Quezada. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. All right. And now we are on to item 12A, the moment some of us have been waiting about 6 years for. This is a motion to begin the purchase process for the jail management system. I move approval of item 12A. We have a second? Second from Commissioner O'Malley. Please proceed.
Sure. So my name is Robert Benavides. I'm the Chief Information Officer for Bernalillo County. And I'm joined tonight by John Lowry from GTL Corporation, who is the vendor we've selected for our jail management system. Diane Gavel from Procurement Business Services. Rod Rolston, who's making his way up here, our Deputy CIO, who's been part of this project for several years. Craig Sparks, the Director of YSC. Chief Fernandez from MDC, and Lieutenant Jackson from MDC as well. So we're seeking your support in signing and moving forward with the procurement of the jail management system for MDC and YSC. It's a $2,177,000 purchase. The RFP has been reviewed, awarded, funding is placed. County staff has been preparing for and planning to start this project. It will start in March of this year, run about 18 months with YSC going first, MDC going afterwards. The current JMS that we have in place at MDC has been there 20 years, since 1999. So if any of you could imagine trying to run your business on 20-year-old technology, that's what we've been doing for quite a while now. So we're really excited. We think this new system will bring us some operational efficiencies to the jail, allow us to make some better database decisions in how we run the facility. It'll be a cornerstone for how we can share data across the criminal justice community in the metro area, so we're very excited about that. So we'll stand for any questions you may have.
Commissioners, any questions or comments? This is a big deal. Thank you very much for your work. all of you for your work on this. Can I just ask one question? So you mentioned the ability of this system to communicate with other systems in the criminal justice system. Can you elaborate on which ones can communicate, and are there any that won't?
You want to talk to it, Rod, real quick? You know the most detail.
Yes. Chairperson and Commissioners, we believe it will interact with practically all of them that we know about today. The really important ones out there are Odyssey for the court system, and we know it will interface with them. The other one's APD, which really brings the most folks to us. They're in the process of looking for a new records management system, but assuming they buy something in the top tier of the business, it'll interact with it. This is very flexible. Already, as it stands right now, we're somewhere in the neighborhood of 15, 16 interfaces that we're going to be replacing or developing out under this project.
Great, and BCSO has a new records management system also?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
Interface?
Yes.
Great. All right. Any questions, comments? All right. Julie, we did move and second this already.
I do not have a motion or a second.
Okay, well, I will move approval of item 12A. Do we have a second? Second from Commissioner O'Malley. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, so we have no discussion left. The next commission meeting will be Tuesday.
Can I have a discussion item for item 13, Madam Chair?
Okay, Commissioner Quezada.
Yeah, I'd like to just go, I would like to go back and just speak on the deferred item from 11A. I'd like to thank everybody who came out to support me on us, moving forward into clean energy and how important it is to the state of New Mexico. This ties in to me with my PACE ordinance that it's going to be, we're working on at the state level to get that going, and how we move into solar energy and clean energy for the state of New Mexico. I think this is a big step forward to that. I apologize that it was deferred today. I know that we have a 60-day session, so that's the good news. If it would have been a 30-day session, this would have been some very bad news for some of us who are trying to make change in saving not only the state of New Mexico and how we move forward, but to save the planet that we all live on. I think this is something that's super important that we move forward no matter what the cost is. I think we've paid a lot of money for stuff that's hurt this planet. I would be willing to pay just as much to support things that will save this planet, in my opinion. So again, I apologize for all of you who came out and spoke. Thank you for speaking. And hopefully at the next meeting, we won't have the same issue, and that we will be able to get this to the state of New Mexico unanimously and supporting, us moving forward into clean energy. But I just wanted to state that. I didn't have an opportunity to do that. So thank you so much for coming out and supporting that. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Quezada. With that, the next Bernalillo County Commission Administrative Meeting will be Tuesday, February 12, 2019 at 5 p.m. That will be preceded by the Board of Finance meeting Tuesday, February 12, 2019 at 4:30, both here in the Vincent E. Griego chambers. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.